Diego, 76 degrees, sunny, no humidity, and we're ready for the Jags and the Chargers. Jacksonville won the toss, they deferred, so San Diego will receive as Josh Scobie tees it up and back deep, the very dangerous Darren Sproles. They call him Mighty Mouse here in Southern California. Fourth meeting between these two teams. Jacksonville leads the series 2-1. Their last meeting, November 18th, 07. Jaguars winning it 24-17 in Jacksonville, and we're underway. Here's Sproles from the goal line. Sproles gets up to the 25 and is stopped at the 26-yard line. 26-yard return. Zach Miller trips him up on special teams, and that brings onto the field Phillip Rivers. Last week in their 21-14 loss at Kansas City, Rivers was 22 of 39, close to 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. His quarterback rating 98.0. He was sacked twice, and Rivers has thrown a touchdown pass in 14 consecutive games dating back to last season. His career best, 16 straight. First down, they throw it to Matthews on the pitch, and the rookie Ryan Matthews picks up 6 yards on the play. Chargers on offense without 2 key players. Marcus McNeil is holding out. He's normally their starting left tackle. So Brandon Dombrowski, a second-year player out of San Diego State who was elevated from the practice squad last year, gets the start week 2 at left tackle. Backs and receivers. They're without one of the best wide receivers in the game in Vincent Jackson. Therefore, Legadou Nane, fourth-year man, former quarterback at Boise State, had over 100 yards receiving last week against KC. Rivers, across, and it's caught by Legadou. And he gains 14 yards. First down, San Diego.
Yeah, Gus, if Vincent Jackson had been on the San Diego team last week and he took Legadou Nane's place, you know, they would have said he'd done his part. Legadou Nane really did an excellent job a week ago. And the longer you go without players through preseason, Gus, through OTAs, the less you miss them. Here in week 2, the Chargers are starting to adapt very well.
Legadou Nane with a 56-yard touchdown in their opener. First down at the 46 for Rivers. Hands it off. And here comes Matthews slicing and dicing. Gets inside the Jacksonville 40-yard line, picks up 15. Sean Considine with the tackle. Last week against Denver, the Jaguar defense had 3 sacks, an interception, and fumble recovery. Aaron Campman, big free agent signee coming over from Green Bay, had a sack and a half last week. Meanwhile, Kirk Morrison, he's in the middle, comes from the Oakland Raiders with Durant and Smith. Some changes in the secondary. Courtney Green starts for Anthony Smith, and David Jones starts for Derek Cox at the corner. And David Jones in his 4th year out of Wingate. And this time, it's Sproles down the sideline, and he's taken out of bounds. Deep inside Jacksonville territory. Middleton with the tackle, but it's a gain of 34. And already you see the Chargers ground and pound.
Yeah, we spoke to Aaron Campman, the great defensive end for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they expected, did the Jaguars, that San Diego would come in with a big chip on their shoulder. You see there, they go out of the Wildcat. That's Legadou Nane taking the snap for the Chargers. And when you get a team that loses a game they felt was stolen from them, like San Diego had in Kansas City, you know they're going to come in and give you a big burst at the beginning of the next game.
First down and goal at the 5. Matthews cuts it inside, lowers his shoulder, dives and gets close to the goal line. Last week, San Diego rushing for 109 yards. They're 15th in the NFL after 1 week in rushing. Yeah, and this man, they say, is the next LaDainian Tomlinson.
Well, a lot of people during the week were talking about the fumble that he had down in San Diego's end that led to the Chiefs' first touchdown. We talked to Norv Turner about it, and he said he told Ryan Matthews, listen, don't let it affect you because you're going to get the ball again. And early in this one, he gets it down close.
So Mike Tolbert, 3rd-year player out of Coastal Carolina, comes in. He's the deep man in the eye. They hand it to him. He's a bruiser. Touchdown Chargers. And just like that, San Diego opens up the game and marches it right down the Jaguars' throats. 6 plays, 74 yards.
Yeah, and they did it on the ground, a lot of it. You see here, Rivers, this is important, Gus. Teams are great down close. Teams that score a lot of points, you say what you want about their quarterbacks, but the teams that do a lot of points are the ones that can run when they're down close, and the Chargers did it twice. Once with Matthews, and then right there, they put the ball in the end zone.
Scobie in to tip the extra point, and it's good. So Tolbert with the 2-yard run. San Diego establishing themselves on the ground early. And the Superchargers take a 7-0 lead. And back in San Diego, the Chargers 6 plays, 74 yards. Eating up 318. Tolbert with the 2-yard run, the big play. Sproles with a 34-yard dash to set him up. Kading sends it away. Tyquan Underwood back deep. He'll start from his own 3. And Underwood taking some long strides, crosses the 30, gets up to the 32, a 29-yard run. Steelers and the Titans playing today. Here's James Brown in New York.
Hey, Gus and Steve, in the final seconds of that game, Tennessee with Kerry Collins at the helm in place of the ineffective Vince Young on 4th down as opposed to going for it to the end zone, dumps it off to Chris Johnson. Time expires. Tennessee falls 19-11 to Pittsburgh. Let's send it back to Gus and Steve.
So how about the Steelers 2-0 without Ben Roethlisberger? They cut Byron Leftwich this week. And Roethlisberger serving that 4-game suspension. They'll take on undefeated Tampa next week. And this is David Garrard firing to the far side. And the reception made by Rashad Jennings. So David Garrard going to the Pro Bowl last year. 16 of 21, 173 touchdowns, no picks last week. One of 4 quarterbacks to throw for 3 touchdowns in week 1. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and Eli Manning, the other 3. 2nd down and 5. Jones and Maurice Jones-Drew in the backfield. They give it to MJD, who hops over the 40-yard line. Stacked up. And let's take a look at this Jaguars offense. So far ranked 17th overall in the NFL. Eugene Monroe, 2nd-year player, 1st-round pick out of Virginia last year, is their left tackle. He's their best lineman. Britton, a 2nd-round pick last year, is their right tackle. Meanwhile, the backs and receivers, Mercedes Lewis, 5th year out of UCLA, 2 touchdowns last week against Denver. He's a local from Long Beach. He has a number of friends and family in attendance for this game. Maurice Jones-Drew trying to find a crease, and he does on 3rd down and 1, picks up 2, and the Jaguars have a 1st down as Burnett comes up with the tackle.
And that's what the Jaguars do, Gus. They move the chains. They get a nice little 6-yard completion on 1st down, and then 2 hard inside runs, 1st down. They stay on the field. You know, David Garrard told us, he said, completion percentage for him is going to be crucial today. Just stay on the football field, and after that first San Diego drive, you know why.
1st down at the 43 for the Jags. Play fake. Garrard setting up. Looking down the field. He's got Underwood. Oh, it's picked off. Kaysen. What a play. 25-yard line. He tracked that ball down like Dion. A 17-yard return. And the Chargers force the first turnover of the day. Kaysen takes over for Cromartie and makes a big play at home. Welcome back, San Diego with the lead and the ball. David Garrard, not known for throwing interceptions, underthrew the ball, and Kaysen made him pay. 1st down now for San Diego. Phillip Rivers sets up deep in the pocket, dumps it off to his running back Matthews out of the backfield, and he picks up positive yardage. Justin Durant knocks him out of bounds, a gain of 12. And let's take another look at the interception.
Here, watch this. He's working against Antoine Kaysen. Kaysen, Jim Thorpe Award winner 3 years ago, is the best defensive back in college football. Gus, you know, we used to tease defensive backs when I was playing that you didn't have any hands. That's where on that side of the ball. You see how he shuffles his feet twice before he releases it? You got to shuffle them once. That ball's a hair late. You saw Underwood have a little bit of separation. That's when the ball should get there. It was a half-second late, and that's what allowed Kaysen to get there.
False start. offense, number 80. 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's Malcolm Floyd, the wide receiver.
As you saw that replay of David Garrard, he dropped back, took a shuffle step, another small shuffle step, and then released it. That's all it takes. Because by the time he takes that second shuffle step, guys, you know in this league, those guys are 7 yards further down the field than they would have been. And it makes for a short throw, just barely short enough for Kaysen to make a great play.
First down at 15 now. Rivers, one of the most accurate passers in the NFL out of the shotgun. Rivers in trouble and is sacked. Great pressure being applied by Jacksonville. Darryl Smith comes up with the sack, and here's a man that was the player of the week in the AFC last week. 11 tackles, an interception, and a forced fumble, and week 2 he picks up a sack.
You'll see here that the Jaguars only bring five guys, and right there, you can't miss them. They have this protection sliding to the right. The tackle's on an island. They bring the offside, weak side linebacker for an 8-yard loss. It's a huge play and exactly what the Jaguars needed.
Only 14 sacks all of last year. A franchise low for the Jaguars. Rivers steps up in the pocket, dumps it off Matthews. Quick turn, gets to the 40, and Matthews dropped at the 43. But you see how explosive he can be. David Jones, first man to him. On 2nd and 23, he gained 17. That's what made LaDainian Tomlinson so effective. Not only his running, but his ability to catch it out of the backfield.
Well, the amazing thing is Ryan Matthews, I mean, they looked for a guy with the same qualities that LaDainian Tomlinson had, and that's saying something because let's face it, LT is a Hall of Fame type player, and as you look here,
looks like we have a turnover.
Yeah, it looks like Matthews fumbled it.
And they're going to give it to
Wow, that
Jacksonville.
was a late call, and there was no, and that's amazing, Gus. And I'll tell you what, you got to keep an eye on Matthews because that's going to get into his head. Second time in 2 weeks he's had a crucial fumble, and now Norv Turner's going to challenge it. That flag came out that call came out way too late to be that clean, Gus.
San Diego's challenge that the runner was down by contact prior to losing control of the football. Timeout.
Down. And I don't ever see the ball come out late.
So we have our first challenge of the day. 7-0, Chargers.
Tell them we're split.
And welcome back, 7-0. We have a challenge on the field. Number 24, the rookie Ryan Matthews out of Fresno State.
And for you at home, we have a split decision in the booth. Gus thinks it's not a fumble. I think the ball comes out right there. I think the ball comes out.
Field stands.
And
first down, Jacksonville.
Wow.
And I think
San Diego
because
charged with their first team timeout.
Because you and I disagree, I don't think that's conclusive evidence that that ball was out. So that's why that call is going to stand. They called it a fumble on the field, and because there was nothing that said, hey, I don't see that that ball was not out, I think that call stands.
But this is important right here. You see Phillip Rivers coming over to Matthews, trying to help his confidence. Remember, he fumbled last week, a costly one. Now he fumbles again here in the first quarter, and the Jags are set up at the San Diego 43. The handoff, Maurice Jones-Drew, and Maurice Jones-Drew gets to the 40. Sean Phillips with the tackle, and it's a 2-yard gain. Last week in Kansas City, the Chargers defense only allowed 9 first downs. Garay, former Boston College wrestler, in the middle of the 3-4, Casillo and Cesare as well. Meanwhile, the linebackers rather, Sean Merriman inactive last week. He's active this week, but is not starting. English starts for him. And in the secondary, Kaysen, you see him track people down. He came up with the interception on David Garrard. And meanwhile, Jacksonville completing one to Mike Thomas, and it's a gain of 13 yards.
It's going to be huge for Jacksonville. They really caught a break with that fumble by Matthews. The Jacksonville Jaguars are not explosive enough offensively to overcome turnovers. Up to this point, that's the strength of Garrard, but he got one interception. He got away with it thus far.
First down and 10 to the 28-yard line. Maurice Jones-Drew barreling forward. And he gets to the 25, a 3-yard pickup, stopped by Garay. So Sean Merriman, who has been nursing a tender Achilles, suffered in August, didn't play last week against Kansas City, but we talked to him yesterday, and we talked to Norv Turner yesterday, and he said Merriman's running full speed. He didn't know if he'd be active. He allowed Merriman to make the decision, and he's on the sideline, ready for play. 2nd and 7 out of the 25. Garrard out of the shotgun. He can run. Here's a draw play. Didn't fool anybody. No gain. Eric Weddle coming up and making the tackle. Oh, Maurice Jones-Drew.
Yeah, that's one of the things Jacksonville does a lot of. When they sense pressure, they don't automatically throw the football down the field or on a quick slant trying to get a big play. What they do is they run screens and draws to get just behind the pressure and then let guys like Maurice Jones-Drew try and make a big play. It did not work on that play, but that's what the San Diego defense expects. They don't expect a big play attempt.
3rd down and 7 at the 25. They need to get to the 18 for 1st down. Here's Thomas, the intended receiver, as they tried to set up a quick screen. Incomplete. Jammer in his face, the 9-year veteran corner out of Texas.
Yeah, San Diego really expected this one. Jammer jumps right past the blocker right there, and it's Kasim Osgood who's trying to get a piece of him, couldn't get it done. That play is blown up right at the point of attack because I think there's no question Jammer expected it.
Brings on Josh Scobie in to attempt a 44-yard field goal. He's connected on 77% of his field goal attempts, 2nd best in franchise history. And it's up and perfect. So the Jaguars get on the board, 5:29 to play. 1st quarter, 7-3, Chargers. Welcome back to Qualcomm Stadium. Gus Johnson, Steve Tasker, 7-3 our score. Chargers trying to snap back from that Week 1 loss to Kansas City. Jacksonville trying to make it 2 in a row as Sproles takes a knee in the end zone. And here comes the rookie. 2 games, 2 fumbles. Will it get into his head? We'll see right after this. Welcome back. Ryan Matthews, already a popular jersey in San Diego. He's back on the field, 1st down and 10 at the 20-yard line. They give it to him on 1st down. Turns the corner, stood up and taken down. Justin Durant makes the tackle, and it's a loss of 2. And Jacksonville told us when we met with them yesterday that they are aware of the rookie and what happened to him Week 1.
Yeah, Aaron Cameron said, you know, we watched them. They got a lot of explosive weapons. We noticed that their running back fumbled and lost it. And you know they're thinking about it, particularly now. It's like Shark Week. You know, once that goes in the water, that defense goes after it harder.
2nd down and 11 at the 19. If you're just joining us, Ryan Matthews, the rookie, has fumbled twice. And this one caught by Malcolm Floyd. If you're just joining us, Matthews fumbling twice in 2 games. Rasheed Mathis with the tackle, but it's a gain of 15 yards for Malcolm Floyd. Mathis coming back. Severe groin injury last year, missed 6 weeks.
Yeah, he missed 6 weeks, and he came back for the last 2 weeks of the season. I'll tell you what, Gus, as a former player, I got to tip my hat to Rasheed Mathis. He was not 100%, but his team needed some help, and he came back early. He wasn't 100%, but decided he wanted to play as much as he could, even though he couldn't be himself. 1st down and 10 at the 35. Matthews, the single setback for Phillip Rivers. Here's Rivers on a straight drop with time going up top. Floyd goes up high and makes the grab. Beautiful throw, a gain of 25, and a nice catch as Malcolm Floyd climbs the ladder. And they say Rivers is one of the most accurate passers in football. Oh, he's one of the top 3 or 4 quarterbacks, certainly one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the game today. Unless you've been living off planet, you should know that. And the guy is the one player, when you talk about this team, about the teams who play it, you talk to defenses, he's the first guy they mention every time they face the Chargers.
Rivers 5 for 5, 84 yards already, 1st down at the Jacksonville 40. Matthews skipping, and he'll pick up maybe 3 on the play. But the Chargers have been able to move the ball, Steve, on the ground.
Well, one of the things, and you come into a game, the Chargers are one of the few teams in the league where you don't know how they're going to come in at you. A lot of teams like the Jacksonville Jaguars, they're going to run the football. They're going to run the football. The Chargers have no such form they have to follow. They can beat you any way they want, and today they're doing it with the rush.
And that's Ryan Matthews, the rookie, down. So an injured Charger back right after this.
As Ryan Matthews is being helped off the field, you get an idea of what may have happened. Looks to be his right ankle that he's favoring as he got tackled. Watch right here. There's his ankle. Watch as Darrell Smith falls across it, and then he got bent back over the pile as well. So have to keep an eye on how severe that injury is. We'll keep you updated.
So Mike Tolbert in the backfield along with Sproles. They throw it to Tolbert underneath, and Tolbert gets to the 22, picks up 13. Sean Considine brings him down, but some great play calling thus far by the Chargers offensively.
Absolutely, and you want to talk about the guy who comes in as a backup. Tolbert, who's a fullback. Here's a guy 5'9", 240 pounds. Try tackling that, Gus. I mean, you get him the ball. He's got all the skills you need as well. He can catch it, he can block, and he can run in the open field. He's a tailback.
First down and 10 of the 24. Tolbert and Sproles in the I formation. Sproles. And he is hit and brought down. No gain on the play as Knighton first man to him.
And the Chargers with Phillip Rivers. I mean, when they get down close, as we said, great teams run the ball down here, but this is really well defended by the Jaguars. You see Knighton, Mathis, everybody's there waiting, and Sproles has got no shot.
And they're really excited about their two tackles, Steve. Knighton and Alu, the rookie, as Matthews sits on the San Diego sideline. Second down and 10 at the 24. Sproles splitting out wide. Rivers dumps it off. Antonio Gates. And Gates, a shoestring tackle at the 12-yard line. A gain of 12 yards, though. Considine and David Jones combining to stop one of the great tight ends in the NFL.
Now watch as Gates comes out. They're going to run a crossing route, and they just lose him. One of the great tight ends maybe ever in the history of the game, and the Jacksonville Jaguars just decide not to cover him. He's Rivers' first option, and he's running against air.
And now Antonio Gates, with that reception, moves into 7th place in NFL history among tight ends for yards. Tolbert, bruiser, and he gets to the 6 on the spin. Considine with the tackle, a 6-yard pickup.
Well, Tolbert's a little bit like Maurice Jones-Drew for the Jaguars. You get up there to tackle him, there's just nowhere to grab. Watch as this play comes out. Tolbert's going to get hit hard for a short gain, and then he just shrugs him off, turns around, and it's like trying to grab a handle on a bowling ball. There just isn't anything to grab. Great, tough, physical run down close. Brings up second and less than 5, Gus. That's huge.
Now Tolbert moves to tailback. Very versatile. They give it to him. And the Jaguars ride him out. Alu in on the play, and that's the end of the first quarter with the score. San Diego 7, Jacksonville 3. The talented rookie may be done for the day. Phillip Rivers perfect so far, 7 of 7. He's hit 5 different receivers. This is the 10th play of the drive that started at the San Diego 20-yard line. 3rd down and 5 at the 7. Rivers looking. And incomplete. Or picked off.
Picked off.
Did Jones hold on and get both feet in bounds?
That looked like an interception to me, Gus. It was a tip pass by Gates off his hands, and David Jones alertly kept.
He did. It is an interception.
Outstanding play by David Jones, the safety coming over to help out.
Second turnover of the day. Jones starting for Derek Cox. Makes a play.
And it looked, watch here, does he keep his feet in? No question, he catches it, has it, drags the toe. That's a pick.
So the Jaguars will get the football at the 20-yard line. A fumble and an interception now by San Diego. Underneath, this one is caught by Mike Sims-Walker as he runs a slant. A flag on the play, though, at the 24-yard line. Kaysen makes the stop.
Ineligible man downfield. Offense number 89 was covered up by number 11. 5-yard penalty. First down.
That's a tight end, Mercedes Lewis.
Yeah, Mercedes Lewis didn't do anything wrong. Sims-Walker covered him up. Watch, see if Jones drags his foot. There's the catch and drags that toe right down out of bounds. Great play. You do it every day in practice. The players practice that kind of stuff. No question about it. It's a heads-up play at a crucial moment in that drive.
First down and 15. Phillip Rivers. Not a happy man on the San Diego sideline. Chargers showing blitz. Maurice Jones-Drew. And Maurice Jones-Drew picks up 3 yards on the play. Sean Merriman in the game, and he makes the tackle.
And Merriman, you can bet he's just as excited as he can be to be back on the field in any capacity. He's been standing around watching his team practice. Didn't get into the game last week. Huge difference maker. Watch as he's right at the point of attack, slides off the block and makes the tackle. His presence is going to give San Diego a lift.
Second down and 11 of the 19. Garrard. That one deflected. Intercepted. Kaysen again. His second pick of the day. And the Chargers are back in business.
Watch, Garrard's going to step up in the pocket. The pocket's collapsing. He gets the ball out on time, and what a great job right at the point of attack by Sean Phillips, the other linebacker besides Sean Merriman. Both those guys are huge difference makers. And once that ball goes up into the air, Gus, you know if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars, nothing good is going to happen.
Garrard, uncharacteristically, 2 interceptions in the first half. Now Rivers with the football at the Jacksonville 30. Tolbert running hard, stopped by Derek Harvey. Jets and the Patriots facing each other today. Here's James Brown in New York.
Gus and Steve, Patriots cap a 15-play, 75-yard drive with that pass from Tom Brady to Wes Welker for the score. Welker's 3rd touchdown reception of this young season. 7-0. Patriots on top of the Jets. Gus and Steve.
All right, JB, Jets offensively challenged against Baltimore in their first game. 2nd and 6 at the 26. Rivers underneath, caught, Sproles in space, and Mighty Mouse gets to the 9, picks up 16. Out of the backfield, it's Middleton and Green bringing him down.
Well, despite what people thought about last week's game, the San Diego Chargers still are the class of the AFC West. They've got so many weapons, and they've got a quarterback that can pull the trigger. And what set that up, Gus, was a big, strong run on first down. With the 2nd and 5, Phillip Rivers has anything he wants.
First down and goal to the 10-yard line. Sproles in the backfield. They give it to him. And Sproles tracked down, and he is stopped inside the 10. Aaron Campman got his ankle. Morrison there as well.
Yeah, this game could not have gone less as planned than either team wanted. Both teams turning the ball over seemingly every series, and Jack Del Rio knows the one thing his team can't afford to do is turn it over. They are not built for big plays, and when you start having turnovers in a game, big plays become almost a necessity.
2nd down and goal to the 9. Sproles in motion. Rivers in trouble and gets it away at the last moment. Philip Rivers
He got rid of
watch
it.
as that pocket collapsed as Aaron Campman close to another sack.
Yeah, Aaron Campman turned into a ball and chain here, got him by the foot, wouldn't let him go, and Rivers, that's a heads-up play. It's a legal play, it's a smart play. Jacksonville fans won't like it, but that's what is supposed to be done by a good quarterback. You're going down, you throw it towards one of your guys where nobody can catch it, and you save the down.
Third down goal at the 9-yard line. Chris Wilson in motion. Rivers steps up over the middle. Gates, touchdown. Antonio Gates with his 61st career regular season touchdown.
He's the only NFL player, Gus, that has 8 touchdown catches in each of the last 6 seasons, and twice today, the Jaguars have decided not to cover him.
So the Chargers capitalizing on the Garrard interception. Nate Kading adds the extra point, 14-3. 11:32 to play in the second quarter. Back to Southern California right after this. And welcome back. How about Antonio Gates moving past Jackie Smith into third place all time with 61 career touchdown receptions, one behind our Shannon Sharp. Underwood fields it inside the 5, gets up the sideline to the 25-yard line before being brought down. Now let's take another look at the touchdown.
Yeah, you'll watch as Gates come out. This is great pass protection by San Diego. Rivers waits, looks out to his right, comes back very late to Gates, and Gates is standing all by himself at the 3. Unbelievable. You saw the Chiefs last week put 3 guys on Gates down close to the end zone. Jacksonville blows the coverage and leaves him by himself for an easy touchdown.
All this by a man undrafted out of Kent State. A college basketball player, went to the Elite 8. Antonio Gates. And now is regarded as not only one of the top tight ends in the NFL today, but maybe down the road the best all time. Mike Sims-Walker gets to the 35. Nice catch. Jammer with the stop, and it's a gain of 10. And having a chance to spend time with Antonio Gates at their facility on Friday, a wonderful thing. He told us about Nick Saban and what Nick Saban told him when he gave him a scholarship to play football at Michigan State coming out of Detroit Central High School. First down and 10 at the 37. Garrard over the middle, another tight end, Mercedes Lewis. And he gets to the 35. Stephen Gregory with the tackle, a 26-yard gain.
Yeah, you talk about these tight ends. Mercedes Lewis, a guy who in college, they showed him tapes of Antonio Gates. Gates, Jeremy Shockey, Todd Heap, all the great tight ends. And he said even among all those tight ends, Antonio Gates stood out. He said he learned a lot about playing tight end, and he's never met Antonio Gates, maybe until today.
First down and 10 at the 37. Garrard moving the football. Underneath, incomplete, intended for Lewis. Houston Texans with a big Week 1 win over Indianapolis. Now they're taking on Donovan McNabb and the Skins. Here's JB in New York.
Gus and Steve, Joey Galloway is how old, about what, 56 years of age? No, we know he's only 38, but take a look up top. He can still fly, as Shannon Sharp says. Hauling in that 62-yard pass from Donovan McNabb that set up a Clint Portis 1-yard run. Skins on top, 13-7 over Houston. Gus and Steve.
All right, JB, second down and 10 at the 37. Garrard underneath, and he finds Sims-Walker, who fumbled it. And San Diego has it again. 2 interceptions and a fumble by the Jaguars.
He catches, there's no question, catches it, tucks it away. That's the definition of a fumble, Gus. This one's not going to be reviewed. It's San Diego going the other direction.
Burnett recovers, stripped by Kaysen. Welcome back. Kaysen, what a day he's having. 2 interceptions, a forced fumble for this young man in his first year as a full-time starter. First down and 10. And this is Tolbert. Stopped by Sean Considine, and let's take a look at the strip.
Well, you said it, Gus. Antoine Kaysen showed up for work on time today. Right there, plays it just perfectly. I mean, it's a tough route to defend. He's just there to make the tackle, and man, just comes in and strips it. When the ball starts coming out, Gus, on both sides, both these defenses' antenna are out. They're going to start thinking about it. It starts to feed on itself. You can bet that both defenses are talking about turnovers right now on their sidelines about how badly they need it.
Second down and 9 of the 26. Tolbert, single setback. Rivers to pass. Steps up in the pocket. Rivers throws. And intercepted again. Wow. Green. Just like that, Phillip Rivers gives it away. And Jacksonville has great field position inside San Diego territory.
Well, you can see he tries to fit this in and just can't get up. Nane can't get up high enough, and as we've seen once before, a tipped ball in the secondary is death for the offense. Nane mistimes his jump a little bit. No problem, though.
So 3 turnovers apiece.
Unbelievable, Gus.
2 interceptions and a fumble for San Diego. 2 interceptions and a fumble for Jacksonville. Garrard with the ball at the San Diego 38. Maurice Jones-Drew. And Maurice Jones-Drew gets to the 37, a 3-yard pickup. And these quarterbacks, Steve, are not used to throwing interceptions. They're great protecting the football.
And you see here, this is a 3-interception game, and they go a long time without throwing clusters of interceptions. Now you can see some guy will throw a tip interception or whatever, but man, oh man, both these guys are throwing it up for grabs a little bit today.
Second down and 8 at the 36. Jones and Jones-Drew in the backfield in the offset eye. Garrard looking over the middle, pick! Wow! Seiler, David Garrard, 3 picks in the first half, and San Diego has it again.
Well, Gus, there's something in the water because both these quarterbacks, I mean, I don't know. They're just throwing it in there. There's really no excuse. I mean, Seiler's standing right there, drops into a hook zone, and Garrard throws it right at him. I mean, that's not even a high throw where he couldn't see him. I mean, you got to think Garrard was blocked by an offensive lineman or something, but both these quarterbacks are getting their chances, Gus.
Tolbert. And Tolbert running hard. He may want to keep the ball on the ground for a while, Steve.
It's amazing. And it really is. You see it, you see it. If you hear the crowd roaring, one thing the reason is because Ryan Matthews just jogged back onto the football field for the Chargers coming down the bench, and the crowd is looking for him. I mean, you can tell they appreciate him, and he's back up, and ready to go. It looks like he wasn't limping.
Well, good sign for the Chargers. Second down and 6. Tolbert breaks a tackle, picks up the first down and some. As he gets to the 44, running over Jaguars, Considine and Green combining on the tackle.
Yeah, it's interesting, too, as Ryan Matthews comes in the game, nobody really cares about the fumble he had. There's been like 5 others since he left. Now Tolbert comes out, and that's the kind of physical run San Diego loves. I mean, both these offenses have got to feel like they can move the football today because they have. They're shooting themselves in the foot with tipped interceptions and fumbles. Neither offense has really had a problem getting first downs, although they can't hold on to it long enough to get to the end zone.
First down at the 44. Tolbert again. And Tolbert Upended by Courtney Green, who's starting for Anthony Smith today at safety. Two new starters in the secondary for the Jaguars, David Jones and Courtney Green, and they sat Anthony Smith and Derek Cox because, according to Coach Del Rio, they just weren't playing well.
Yeah, Cox, he said, was just needed a rest. He needed a break to sit back and take a deep breath. And he didn't, it's not like he's lost faith in Cox. He just felt he needed to get on to Cox. You see there, that's the most in franchise history, tied for the most. That's amazing.
Second down and 6 at the 48. Rivers in trouble. Rivers scrambling, and he gets rid of it. A lot of pressure being applied. Kirk Morris and Darryl Smith giving chase.
That's the big difference this year for Jacksonville. They can get pressure on the quarterback. Watch as Morrison comes up through. You see the defensive end, Campman drops out, and Morrison comes from the other side. No way the Chargers were going to be ready for that. Great defensive call by the Jaguars as they dropped their best pass rusher into coverage.
Only 14 sacks last year, fewest in franchise history, tied for 5th in the NFL. They had 3 last week against Denver. And Rivers will call a timeout. 6:22 to play, second quarter. 1 timeout remaining for the Chargers, leading at 14-3. It's not too late to play NFL.com's all-new fantasy football game. The first and only game with video. It's free and easy to play. Sign up today at NFL.com/fantasy. 3rd down and 6 at the 48. Rivers underneath. And it's caught. Malcolm Floyd, nice run after the catch. He picks up 5 yards. Darryl Smith tracks him down.
Yeah, and they're not going to go for it on 4th down, and the crowd doesn't like it. But you know what, Gus? You got to remember, after all that's happened, all the turnovers, all that, the Chargers got an 11-point lead. They don't need to go crazy, even though there's no question they have confidence they could get it on 4th and short. They're in the driver's seat right now.
Make that Buster Davis with the reception. So San Diego has to punt. Oh, it's blocked! Jacksonville got to it. The Jaguars come up with another great play. Looks like Osgood got to the football.
One of the things that's different for the Chargers today is Ryan Neal is the long snapper right there. David Ben is one of the great long snappers of all of football. He pulled his hamstring last week and is out of this game. That was a pretty good snap, right on the money. But you know what? It didn't have any velocity.
Rashad Jennings actually got to the football.
That ball it was arced back there. It took too long for the snap to get there and gave the rush time to get there in time.
Maurice Jones-Drew running straight up the middle. And what a turn of events we've had in this football game. 4 turnovers for Jacksonville, 3 for San Diego. Now a block punt. Jennings able to get to the football and block it. So with 5:16 to go.
This snap, you see how it got back there. It just didn't have enough juice on it. It's got to get back there like a rocket. You're talking 100th of a second, Gus, but that's all it takes if the rush is on.
2nd down and 2. Maurice Jones-Drew again, and he picks up the 1st down.
And Gus, if you want to ask what a block punt means, it's a turnover. It's just like another turnover. It's as though Phillip Rivers dropped back on 4th down and got sacked. You see that? This is David Ben, the guy I was just speaking about, and that's Ryan Neal next to him. The snap was on target, but you could tell it didn't have enough velocity because it looped back there. It had a big arc on it, it just didn't have enough velocity.
1st down and 10 at the 32. Garrard handing it off to Maurice Jones-Drew, breaks a tackle, but he's bottled up and goes down. Brandon Seiler, the linebacker, finally brings him down. It's a loss of 2. And speaking of Neal, when we talked to Norv Turner on Friday, we said, well, how long has Neal been here? And he said probably about since about 9 a.m. this morning.
Right. Yeah, right. For about 38 hours, Neal has been a Charger. This guy's been a Charger for 17 years.
2nd down, 12 at the 34. off Jennings, and he is taken down for a loss. Césaire smelling that play out and coming up with a huge 6-yard loss for the Jaguars.
No, yeah, this is just going to be a little lead draw, and the Chargers are all over it. Césaire just burst through right by Meester. Meester tries to get a little chip piece of him, and it's just not enough. The penetration killed that play for a huge loss. Great stand by the San Diego defense.
3rd down, 18 at the 40. They need to get to the 22.5 for first down. Garrard has been shaky to the sideline. Ernest Wilford with the catch. It's a gain of 7 as Quentin Jammer stops him. And there is a flag down in the backfield.
Sean Merriman is back in the backfield, got his helmet ripped off. That could move him back further, and I think
illegal use of hands to the face. Offense number 75. 10-yard penalty, 3rd down.
That's Eugene Monroe, the left tackle.
Yeah, you'll see right up here, that's Sean Merriman working against him, and got his hand on the face mask. The helmet's going to come off, and that's a penalty, absolutely. And you take that penalty even though it brings up 4th down because the Jaguars had gotten into field goal range.
So now they move it all the way back to midfield. 3rd down and a long 28. Garrard fires underneath. Mike Thomas with the catch. His forward progress should get him to the 30. A 21-yard gain. Donald Strickland knocks him down, but that may have gotten him back into field goal range.
Yeah, they're going to bring out their field goal team, and this is exactly what the Jaguars needed to do. Just give themselves a chance. It's a throw down the seam, and you wonder how much David Garrard guided that in with all the interceptions that have been going on. Completed it. It's a great play.
2-minute warning. Two minutes remaining in the first half. Chargers with a 14-3 lead, but now Josh Scobie, already good today from 44 yards, comes in to attempt a 48-yarder. Clean snap, good hold, it's up. And good. Josh Scobie nails a 48-yarder, 1:55 to go in the first half, 14-6. Welcome back to San Diego, 14-6, Chargers with the lead. It's been a crazy first half. 7 turnovers, a blocked punt. As Josh Scobie sends it away. Darren Sproles back deep. Sproles fields it at the 3. And Sproles crosses the 20, gets up to the 23-yard line. A flag on the play. Montel Owens with the tackle on special teams for Jacksonville.
During return, holding, receiving team number 59. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
And that is Brandon Seiler. Don't forget, coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report, join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach C for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. It's coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report.
Well, it's an interesting question. If you're the San Diego Chargers with 1:50 left, now the Jaguars have 3 timeouts left. San Diego, but with 1. And I think with this offense, Gus, you got the firepower. I think you throw Phillip Rivers in there and you try and go down and score points. No use in trying to protect an 8-point lead at this point. Turn him loose and go.
Rivers has thrown 2 interceptions. He has never thrown 3 interceptions in a regular season game. Rivers underneath. Nice catch. Sproles. Uh-oh. Sproles. Out of bounds at the Jacksonville 45. Courtney Green rides him out of bounds, and Jack Del Rio can't believe it. Number 43 picks up 43 on 1 play.
Well, Rivers, after all that's happened in this, Gus, watch the dart Rivers throws in there. Boom, right down low and in front of him. And then Sproles bounces off the tackle inside and gets up the sideline. What a great play by Rivers after all that's happened. Tipped interceptions, interception, fumble. He steps up and throws a dart right down the middle of the defense.
So a first down at the Jacksonville 44-yard line. Mike Tolbert comes into the game. Rivers with time. Sideline incomplete. Malcolm Floyd, the intended receiver. Michael Coe covering.
Yeah, excellent coverage by Jacksonville. They're in man coverage all over the field. And on that play, I think they did double Antonio Gates. You see there, right on the outside, and he's the guy they had the shot at. Just couldn't connect.
Second down and 10 at the 44. A minute 36 to play in the first half. Chargers have one timeout remaining. Rivers steps up. Oh, lost it. More pressure. Campman again. And they're going to call this an incomplete pass.
Yeah, and I think they're right. Rivers is going to get smacked right in the face, but his hand's going to be going forward, and that's all it takes. Campman does. You see there, he just spikes it over the top of Campman's head. Great play by Rivers. Better play by Campman. Weaving through traffic. I don't know. You know, you watch a guy like Aaron Campman, and you can't figure out why he always ends up right in front of the quarterback, but he does.
Third down, 10 at the 44. They need to go to the 34 for first down. Rivers throwing to the sideline, and it's caught. Patrick Creighton. First down, Chargers. Creighton traded from Dallas for a conditional 6th or 7th pick. Makes a big play here.
Well, going against David Jones, great route by Creighton, comes out, and the ball is right on time. I mean, that was an outstanding route, but the ball is so accurate and so right on time. All Creighton has to do is turn around, and before the defensive back can even react, the ball's already completed.
He gained 15, under a minute to play. First down. Rivers. This time it's Davis. And Buster Davis barrels down to get to the 19-yard line, picks up 10. Darrell Smith with the tackle. 43 seconds and counting.
Well, you watch this offense work, and without two of its most notable players, left tackle Marcus McNeil and Vincent Jackson, and I'll tell you, Gus, the longer you hold out in the NFL, the less your team misses you.
First down to the 19, Rivers. Sideline again, Davis steps out of bounds. Inside the 15, stops the clock. David Jones ushers him out of bounds with 26 seconds to play. A 5-yard gain.
You got 26 seconds and a timeout left. It's 2nd and 4. And Gus, how good is this San Diego offense? I mean, they really didn't get a chance on opening night in a rainstorm to do everything they could, but here today on a beautiful afternoon, you get an idea of why so many people fear playing this offense.
Phillip Rivers has already thrown for 204 yards. Second down and 5. Rivers with time over the middle. Antonio Gates. And Gates stopped at around the 7. And San Diego burns their final timeout. Considine Green with the tackle. 18 seconds to play. And don't forget, coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report, join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, Coach C for all the latest NFL scores and highlights that's coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report. Can you imagine what Coach Power would be doing right now if his team had turned it over 4 times in the first half? He'd be spitting over everybody. First down and goal at the 8. Here's Rivers. In the end zone! Oh! Legadoo drops it, but a flag on the play at the 1.
Illegal contact, defense number 31. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
That's David Jones.
Man, that's a huge play. That's like a completion and out of bounds. Right here, and that's too far. Watch as Jones gives him the shot. That's after he's 5 yards down the field, and you can't do that. Just too deep in the end zone to make that contact right there, and it costs him the flag.
First down and goal at the 4. Remember, San Diego out of timeout. Sproles in the backfield. Rivers, short drop in the corner. Touchdown! Gates again. Antonio Gates, the former basketball star. And Steve, if this isn't a perfect example of posting and toasting, I don't know what is.
Well, Antonio Gates, the basketball player, right there, you can see working against Smith, and he just turns out, and you're right, Gus, it's like a pick and roll.
Extra point up and good. Antonio Gates told us that when he's taking on smaller guys, he uses his size.
Bigger guys, he uses his speed. I'll tell you what, though, on that one, he used his quarterback. What a great throw, right on time. You know he's going to catch it, turns around, the ball's in the air. Just like a little easy rebound, Gus, touchdown.
Gates with his second touchdown of the afternoon here in the first half, and with 10 seconds to go, the Chargers take a 21-6 lead.
I'll tell you what, Gus, we were talking about it during the break. I don't think Jacksonville could have played a worse half of football.
You're absolutely right. They have struggled 4 turnovers.
And it's not that, and you know what? It's not that the San Diego Chargers played all that much better except for that final drive, but Jacksonville's not built for big plays. San Diego thrives on it. They got a quarterback that throws it up. They air it out. They got the running game going. This is the kind of team San Diego is, but not the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're not built for this.
Line drive kick out of the end zone, so the Jaguars will have it at the 20. They have 3 timeouts and 10 seconds remaining. So now, unfortunately for our Shannon Sharp, Antonio Gates has tied him. He now only chases Tony Gonzalez.
And you know what I didn't really realize? As long as Antonio Gates, the good tight end, the great tight end he's been, it's his 8th year.
And we wanted to finish the story. Nick Saban told Antonio, what's the difference between
$40 million and $60 million?
And Antonio said, well, that's basic math, $20 million. He said, no, it's all the same.
Yeah.
You should play football.
That's right.
And good for the NFL. Antonio Gates, he's some player, and San Diego has a 21-6 lead. We'll be back with the Sprint halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. Welcome back to San Diego. 21-6 the score. Chargers with the lead at halftime. Gus Johnson along with Steve Tasker, partner. What a crazy first half. 7 turnovers and a block punt.
Yeah, and it really for the Jacksonville Jaguars, it couldn't have gone much worse because they're not a team that's built to have big plays to come back from setbacks like the kind they had in the first half. 4 turnovers for them, 3 for the Chargers. The Chargers are built for that. They're an offensive team with a great quarterback who's a big play threat. They overcame their turnover problems. The Jacksonville Jaguars can't afford to do that.
All right, let's take a look at our points of protection brought to you by Allstate.
And you see there as this rolls out, 4 receptions for Antonio Gates. A couple of times he was left uncovered by mistakes. 7 combined turnovers. It doesn't happen very often. 5 years since it's happened in the NFL. David Garrard had his first 3-interception game in 48 games. And of course, Ryan Matthews, the great rookie running back for San Diego, left with an ankle injury. He did come out late in the first half, jogging out without a limp. Don't know if he'll be back in this game, but I will say this, Gus. If I'm Norv Turner, Ryan Matthews does not get back on this football field. They're up 21-6. No reason to make him do something that may cause him problems down the road. It's a long season. Don't use yourself up in the first 2 weeks.
So the Jaguars will receive to start the second half. 21-6 as Nate Kading prepares to kick it away. Tyquan Underwood back deep at his own goal line. And this will be Underwood from the 5. Crosses the 15, dropped to the 17. Jacob Hester with the tackle on special teams, a 13-yard return. An odyssey of a first half for David Garrard. 6 of 11, 87 yards, 3 interceptions, and he hadn't thrown 3 interceptions in a game in 47 consecutive games. He threw 3 in the first half. Let's see how he responds. First down and 10 at the 18-yard line. Maurice Jones-Drew in the backfield. Garrard underneath. Incomplete. Mike Thomas, the intended receiver, but once again, Kaysen in on the play, and he's had a spectacular game. Let's take a look at David Garrard and his interception.
Yeah, no question. Started out with a little bit of an underthrown ball a little late. Then it got tipped up in the secondary. That's a bad luck interception. This is a bad throw. And that's where we sit. David Garrard made one really bad decision, and that was the throw. Of course, was intercepted by Seiler, but that was just one of an avalanche of turnovers.
Second down and 10 at the 18-yard line. Garrard almost bobbled the snap. He finds Mike Thomas on a slant, and Thomas stopped by Kaysen. He gains 8 on the play.
You know, they've had this slant route open the entire game, and Jacksonville's the kind of offense, Gus, when they get a quick slant route and it's open, they're going to keep going to it until San Diego decides to take it away. But when they're down as many points as they are, sooner or later, they're going to have to take some shots for the big play.
Third down and 2 at the 26. Here's Garrard in the shotgun. Garrard underneath, caught, and that's his tight end, Mercedes Lewis, with the reception. So on third down and 2, he gains 5. Gregory with the tackle on the play.
Yeah, one of the things for preparation for this game, Gus, you and I talked to Mercedes Lewis and David Garrard and Norv Turner. David Garrard played for Norv Turner in the Pro Bowl at the end of last season. He said he loved the system Norv Turner uses to get the ball to his tight ends. And there you see David Garrard maybe stealing a little something from Norv Turner, looking for Mercedes Lewis.
First down and 10 at the 32-yard line. Garrard, short drop, comes. Garrard in trouble, and he's sacked. Césaire hopped on his back and took the ride. And Jacques Césaire, in his 8th year out of Southern Connecticut State, comes up with another terrific play.
Yeah, and that's the pressure is just going to come right around. Watch as they come around on the outside. You see there, it just collapses on him, and Garrard can feel it coming even though it's from his backside. And what happens is he starts to think about it. You see there, he's looking to his left, so the time is out. A -6-yard sack brings up 2nd and 16.
From the 26, Garrard has not run the ball today. Underneath, Mike Sims-Walker, another slant, and he's gobbled up quickly. I tell you what, though, Antoine Kaysen, who's starting this year for the first time in his 3rd season for Cromartie, who went to the Jets, 2 interceptions. He's knocked down balls. He's forced fumbles. He's come up with tackles. What a player this kid is turning out to be.
And the whole offseason, the story was about Vincent Jackson and McNeil holding out. I'll tell you what, the players San Diego has playing for them now are making it just forget about those guys. This team's moving forward, and they're moving forward in a great way.
Second down and third down and a long 9. Here's Mike Sims-Walker with the catch as he laid out and brought it in inside San Diego territory. On 3rd and 9, he picks up 20.
Well, Kayson's got outside leverage, and watch, he's just going to come in, plant hard. The ball's got to be on time, and it is. You see there, that's a great throw. Kaysen just has no chance to come in and break on that ball. It's too deep a route, and you got too much cushion for the receiver to make a break on that ball. You almost have to guess at that pass to defend it.
So Garrard showing confidence in the second half after throwing 3 picks in the first half. They put the ball on the ground, and this is Jennings slicing through the Chargers defense. He picks up 9 on first down.
Well, I'll tell you what, Gus, you and I up here watching this game, you can tell Jacksonville has come out this half with a real sense of urgency. Great work up front by the offensive line of Jacksonville. Nice little trap inside, very physical run. You know you're going to get whacked as a running back going up inside there, but that's a great, great run on first down.
Second down and 1 at the 38. And this time it's Jennings plowing forward, picks up the first down. Steve, what do you think, after playing such an awful first half, that Jack Del Rio said to his team in the locker room at halftime?
Well, this is a team that's this is a resilient team, and one of the things we noticed about them, they've got great leadership. And Mercedes Lewis said it best. It's to the point now in Jacksonville where these guys don't want to disappoint Jack Del Rio, he has come to mean that much to his players. And I'll tell you, there's no greater compliment than to have your players say, we don't want to disappoint our guy.
Maurice Jones-Drew on the sideline, first down at the Charger 33. Garrard, play fake, looking, with time, dumps it off, and this is Wilford. No, make that Greg Jones with the catch out of the backfield, and he gains 5. Burnett with the tackle.
Yeah, look at what happens to Jacksonville when they come out west. I mean, they're 0-2 last year. 1.5 points a game. I mean, that, you know, turnovers are -4. I mean, they just stink when they travel west.
Second down and 5 to the 28. Zach Miller in motion. Maurice Jones-Drew bounces it outside, tries to turn the corner, and it's gobbled up. Some hard running by Maurice Jones-Drew. Paul Oliver there, and it's a 5-yard gain.
And it's a nice hard run. One of the things we talked to about San Diego, Luis Castillo told us they have their running backs on the scout team break the ball anywhere on the field. They don't want them to run where the play is designed, because that's what Maurice Jones-Drew does. They try and get their running backs to run like he does, anywhere on the field, every play.
Third down and 1 at the 24. Maurice Jones-Drew looking. He lost it. Picked up again. Oliver. 5 turnovers by the Jaguars in this game. And San Diego has it again, leading it 21-6. Maurice Jones-Drew on the Jacksonville sideline fumbles the football. 5 turnovers today for Jacksonville. First down and 10 at the 33. As San Diego takes over, Tolbert smashing straight ahead. And let's take one more look at the fumble.
Well, it's like we said in the first half, Gus, once a team starts fumbling, it's like Shark Week. It's blood in the water. The defense thinks about it every play. They look for it every play. They try and make it happen every play. And that is, you know, it just pops out. You can see the guys tackling with right on the football. And that ball with that velocity pops out. You know, it just doesn't happen. And you just can't overcome that many turnovers in a game. It just doesn't happen in this league.
Second down and 6 at the 37. Rivers firing. Gates at the 40. Antonio Gates gets to the 36. Courtney Green with the tackle, but it's a gain of 26.
Well, he's being covered by Sean Considine and Darrell Smith. Double team. Smith on the outside watching Considine coming in from the inside, loses track of him. And I'll tell you what, Antonio Gates, I mean, you see him running like that and you wonder, you know, how do you miss a guy like that? You know, but let me tell you something. It's easy to say Jacksonville should know that. It's hard to cover a guy who's that big, runs that well, and the quarterback looks for him.
Gates, 5 catches, 57 yards, 2 touchdowns. Last week he had 5 catches, 76 yards and a touchdown.
There's a player down in Jackson, a Jaguar down on the field.
Looks like Courtney Green. 7:43 to play in the third. Back right after this. They love their surfing in San Diego, and they love their Chargers. And right now, the home team has a 21-6 lead, driving once again, 2nd and 7 at the Jacksonville 34. Rivers to Sproles. Oh, nice tackle. Considine closing the gap quickly. 2-yard gain for Sproles out of the backfield with the catch.
Once again, brings up a 3rd and 5. This San Diego offense, I mean, with a guy like Rivers, there's just no let up. I mean, this defense for Jacksonville has got to find a way to get off the football field and get the ball back to David Garrard in that offense. 3rd and 5 gives you a chance, but Phillip Rivers got 5 guys out there that can catch a pass, and he can make the right decision. You just don't get a break, Gus.
Rivers. First down. Buster Davis. The out route.
First down, Chargers.
That's the frustrating thing. I mean, that looks so easy. You got to cover the whole field, sideline to sideline. Rivers drops back, looks at the middle of the field, and throws it to the left-hand sideline. And, you know, they stay on the field. 1st and 10, let's go, huddle up.
Ball at the 25. Norv Turner calmly watching. Tolbert returns to the backfield. They give it to him on 1st down, and this time he'll lose a yard. Some nice pressure by Darryl Smith. Now, is your fantasy football site letting you down? There's still time to upgrade to the award-winning Fantasy Football Commissioner. Get a special offer and help moving your league at cbssports.com/upgrade.
There you go. Wow. Both teams combined 8 turnovers and 1 punt. And the punt, it was blocked? Goodness.
2nd and 10 at the 25. Rivers underneath Sproles. And Sproles knocked out of bounds at the 23 by Tyron Breckenridge, a gain of 2. Let's check in with James Brown in New York for an NFL update.
Hey, Gus and Steve, it's a McFabulous day by Donovan McNabb. 18 of 23, 340 yards and a touchdown. This one here up to Chris Cooley for 22 yards. McNabb and the Skins on top 27-10 over Houston in the 3rd. Back to Gus and Steve.
Yeah, Donovan McNabb finding his own tight ends in Washington. They run a lot of 2 tight end offense in Washington.
3rd down and 8 at the 23. Here comes a blitz. They pick it up underneath, but incomplete. They're intended for Antonio Gates.
Yeah, they got Aaron Campman guarding Gates now. And the Chargers did a great job of picking that up. Aaron Campman, you see, he banged Gates. That's the best way to do it. If you get a great tight end, a lot of guys have the philosophy, just beat him up at the line of scrimmage and take him off his game. You put Aaron Campman, the pass rusher, on him, and he does just that. Used to do playing that physical game.
Brings on Nate Kading in to attempt a 41-yarder. He's made 20 straight regular season field goal attempts. Had some trouble in the playoffs last year. And it's good. 4:55 to play in the 3rd, 24-6. Superchargers. Welcome back to Qualcomm, and don't forget tonight on 60 Minutes, a little island with a big secret. It's a hotbed for producing NFL stars. How? The answer is on 60 Minutes tonight, only CBS. Kading sends it away. Tyquan Underwood fields it at the 11-yard line. And he crosses the 20, gets up to the 23. Special teams tackle made by Legadoo. 24-6 the score. .450 to play. 3rd quarter. It's starting to get loud here in San Diego as Jacksonville takes over. The reverse goes nowhere. Thomas stopped by Sean Phillips. And it's a loss of 1.
Trying the end around. You knew that with the crowd going crazy, the defense was going to have its ears pinned back. I mean, they know now the feathers are off for Jacksonville. Jacksonville's got to start doing some things offensively to get back in this football game. San Diego anticipated it, sent some extra people on the outside, and broke that end around off right at the point of attack.
2nd down and 11 at the 23. Garrard underneath Lewis, incomplete. And a flag on the play thrown late.
Yeah, this is going to be a penalty.
There's unnecessary roughness, hit on the defenseless receiver, no foul in play, 3rd down.
Now they waved the flag off. But watch, this is Lewis coming off. He's going to run the deep end, and as this ball goes over his head, you'll see the shot there by Gregory. And they say then, I tell you, they threw the flag because they thought it was a hit on a defensive receiver. They picked it up. We didn't hear the explanation.
3rd down and 11 to the 23. They need to go to the 33 for first down, make that the 34, and a quick flag.
False start. Offense number 66. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
You know,
it's Justin Smiley, the left guard.
You know, it's one other thing about this game that kind of gets lost in it. Not only have Jacksonville Jaguars made so many mistakes, and they've really outweighed the mistakes that the Chargers have made. The Chargers are also a very clean football team. They were only penalized 78 times all last year, and today I don't remember any penalty at all that they've gotten. I mean, this is a very good football team here in San Diego. They can overcome their mistakes, and they have.
3rd down, 16 at the 18. Garrard sets up a screen. Maurice Jones-Drew. And Maurice Jones-Drew still running. And he'll get close to the first down marker. And let's see where they spot it.
Well, he's going to
tackle by Donald Strickland.
What a huge 3rd down pickup. You know, and I'll tell you, Jacksonville's got no quit in them. I mean, they've got good leadership on the field. Jack Del Rio has got them highly motivated. And I'll tell you, Gus, you just don't quit playing when you're in the NFL. Whether you're down by a lot or up by a lot, you got to keep playing. And Maurice Jones-Drew, you can tell he's got a chip on his shoulder right now, the way this game's turning out.
He picked up the first down. On the sideline, Jennings in the game. And here's Jennings. Diving forward, gets to the 39, picks up 3.
You know, you talk about Mojo. When he was drafted, he came out with an enormous chip on his shoulder, was a 2nd rounder. He wears 32 because all 32 teams passed on him in the 1st round. We talked to David Garrard, and he goes, you know, I didn't even know who he was when he came out. And they came out, they put the pads on for the first time, and David Garrard says, wow, this guy's special. First time Pro Bowler in 2009.
2nd down and 6 at the 39. First down marker at the 45. Garrard in trouble. Garrard sacked again. San Diego bringing all sorts of pressure. Larry English leading the way, and it's a loss of 8. 2nd sack of the day.
Yeah, Eric Weddle was also there. Watches, looks like he's going to break out of this, and this is what the Jacksonville Jaguars need him to do. He's got to keep himself alive and stay on his feet. He tries to. Chargers just won't let him do a great pass rush all the way around up front for the Chargers.
3rd down, 15 at the 30. They need to go to the 45 for first down. Garrard steps up over the middle and caught. Mike Sims-Walker. First down, Jacksonville. A gain of 17 on 3rd and 15. What a nice ball thrown by David Garrard.
Well, watch how he stands in. They send 6 guys, only 5 in the backfield to cover. And you see the ball go down. You can see the ball had nice touch. It kind of arced in there. It was a soft throw. Watch as Sims-Walker comes in, boom, snaps the route off and has to go down for it. Unbelievable protection and release by Garrard in the offensive line. Great route by Walker.
Garrard in the gun on first down to the sideline, and it's Jennings out of the backfield, and he's taken down. Sean Merriman. Good sign, making a tackle in the open field, 3-yard gain.
Yeah, and this offense for the Jaguars is not something they're used to doing. I mean, it's a function of a 24-6 deficit that they're working against deep in the 3rd quarter. But you know, I'll tell you, Gus, and I've said it before to you, and we've talked about it, your football team learns a lot of good things about itself in the 4th quarter from bad football games. Jacksonville's going to come out of this game a better football team, even if they lose big.
2nd and 7 at midfield. Time winding down in the 3rd. Garrard. Hit as he throws! Intercepted! Wow! David Garrard intercepted by Kevin Burnett. It's his 4th interception of the day. 6 turnovers for Jacksonville. Wow, tough day for the Jags. You ever been a part of a game like this, Steve? 6 turnovers today, tied for most in franchise history.
Hey, bro, I played in the Super Bowl when we had 9. We lost that one, too.
I'm sorry that I asked that question. First down and 10 at the 42. Tolbert, beautiful piece of running. He's been terrific today as well as Sean Considine stops him, but he gains 6.
Well, Seiler's going to come in and just put the wood on Garrard. He stands tough. He just tries to hang in there too long. I think David Garrard, one thing, if he's made any mistakes today or could change anything about his game, I think he should have taken the ball, tucked it a few more times, and run out of that pocket and bought himself some more time. That play was a direct result of him just trying to stand in there too much.
And that's the end of the third quarter. San Diego with a 24-6 lead. We'll return to San Diego after this message and a word from your local station. The two leaders of the Jaguars offense, Maurice Jones-Drew on your right and David Garrard on your left, searching for answers. Meanwhile, Tolbert runs it down the sideline. Tolbert, look at the big fella, moving and finally knocked out of bounds inside the 25, a 29-yard run. Kirk Morrison finally stops him.
Yeah, and this is a great run. Just turning it up the field, rumbling. I mean, this is at a point in the game where, you know, Tolbert's the perfect guy in there. Watch Antonio Gates block down the field, working out there. As David Jones just can't get away from him. Wants the penalty, he's not going to get it at this point.
Tolbert, 13 carries, 73 yards. Chargers with the football at the Jaguars, 23. Sproles in the backfield.
Watch the play action.
Now Sproles looking. And he may have gained a yard on the play, Darrell Smith.
And the reason I say this is play action, Gus, I mean, the Chargers could, you know, basically get into a kneel down or 4-minute offense where they just milk the clock for all it's worth. But also 24-6, I know it sounds crazy, but you almost want to score again. You know, when you've got a defense in desperation mode like the Jaguars are, you know, you fake it in the line and pop it over the top and just, you know, put a nail in the coffin.
Second down and 9 to the 22. Play fake. Rivers sets up a screen. Buster Davis with blockers. Buster. And he's out of bounds at the 1. Nice call by the Chargers. Buster Davis picks up 21. Phillip Rivers says that should be a touchdown.
If he didn't step out of bounds, it is a touchdown. But I think he stepped out of bounds just as he planted the foot to dive in. And watch this, and this is it. A little play action pass, a screen play to the weak side. Watch as if he steps out of bounds, that's a touchdown. That's a touchdown. They should challenge it right now.
Here's a great look at it.
The goal line extends way past that pylon. And that was an absolute touchdown.
First down and goal. Tolbert. Now that's a touchdown.
That's a touchdown. So much for a slow start in San Diego.
That's right. Chargers take a 30-6 lead with 13-18.
This is
play in the 4th.
And I'll tell you this, Gus, the Jacksonville Jaguars are a much more complete and solid football team than the Kansas City Chiefs were even on Monday night this last week. The Chargers ran into a rainstorm monsoon and some slippery conditions, but they had a chance to win that game at the end as well.
Extra point, good. I don't know, Kansas City also off to a good start, 2-0. Tolbert, big day rushing the football, 14 carries, 74 yards, and 2 scores. 31-6, Chargers. (31-6) San Diego. And the fans enjoying this one. How about Mike Tolbert? 74 yards rushing, career high, 2 touchdowns, also a career high. As they send it away, Underwood inside his own 5. Tyquan Underwood, flag on the play, down the sideline. And he steps out of bounds.
During return, holding receiving team number 94. After this is to the goal, first down.
So that'll wipe away a 48-yard return as Jeremy Mincy is called for holding. Find out why TV Guide calls Hawaii Five-O's fall, the hottest show rather, new show this fall and the coolest remake ever. Catch the Wave premiering tomorrow, only CBS.
Well, there you see the bench of the Chargers. And, you know, Gus, these guys place so much pressure on themselves to play well. This is the only time of the week that there's really no pressure on. They're way up in a game. The game's almost over. They can sit down and really relax mentally for the first time.
And they pulled David Garrard after throwing 4 interceptions. Luke McCown, 7th-year man out of Louisiana Tech in at QB. On first down, he finds Mercedes Lewis. And Lewis hurdles a man and gets to the 25-yard line. And I asked you that question, do you pull Garrard at this point prior to McCown coming onto the field? And I guess Jack Del Rio had seen enough.
Yeah, and there's no reason for it. If you're gonna win and do the things you want to do this year, that guy's gonna make you get there. Even though you can take today for what it's worth, that's not typical David Garrard. In the years we've watched him play, he continually gets better. They're gonna need him.
McCown looking for Jennings, incomplete. Jets in New England still battling. Here's James Brown in New York.
Hey, Gus and Steve, a familiar sight, I'm sure, for San Diego fans. Jets on top, 21-14. Key play was this LaDainian Tomlinson 31-yard run. That led to a Jets touchdown and a good 2-point conversion. Jets on top, 21-14 in the fourth. Gus Johnson, Steve Tasker.
All right, here's Jennings receiving, and Jennings all the way to midfield. A 24-yard gain. How about the Jets, Steve, after that loss on opening week to Baltimore?
Well, the Jets have got some guys. I mean, not only did Rex Ryan have the biggest personality of a head coach, they've got guys like LaDainian Tomlinson, Jason Taylor on that team. Real veteran players who they hope will make a difference when the postseason comes.
First down and 10 at midfield, McCown. And he completes a pass underneath Mike Sims-Walker, clotheslined and taken down. Wow, a 9-yard gain. And he's stopped by Applewhite.
Well, they don't fool around out there, Gus, do they? You catch a pass, you got to be ready to tuck and go. Bang, oof.
Looked like a Dick Night Train Lane play. So Merriman coming up with the tackle this time on Jennings. Rashad Jennings getting a lot of action here in the second half.
And I think Jack Del Rio's doing the best thing. Take Maurice Jones-Drew out, sit down David Garrard, and let him think about what happened in this game. David Garrard had a couple of bad breaks, no question about it. Some pressure and some tipped balls, but he made a couple of bad throws and bad decisions as well.
Down. Almost threw this one into the hands of Eric Weddle. And that'll bring up second down and 10. We take another look.
Yeah, Weddle almost pulls this in. You see him covering the ground. I mean, that's what a safety has to do. His job is to cover both hash marks as wide as he can. And the deeper the pass route goes, the easier it is for a safety because the ball's in the air that much longer. Safety backpedals out of there, keeps his eyes on the quarterback. When he lets it go, he turns and runs towards it. Couldn't get there in time.
Maurice Jones-Drew back in the game and running back. Here's McCown with time. Incomplete. Broken up by Kasim Osgood, the intended receiver.
Yeah, Kasim Osgood was a fixture here in San Diego for a lot of years. Special teams captain, a guy that the Chargers, I think, really missed, particularly in a game like they had last week against the Chiefs when they gave up a long punt return. But you can think that Kasim Osgood wanted to come back and make a better impression on a day like today.
Third down and 10 at the 40. Sims-Walker and Thomas split wide at the top of your screen. McCown in for Garrard here in the fourth quarter. Throws off his back foot, has his tight end, Lewis. And Mercedes Lewis picks up 3 yards on the play. Stopped by Kevin Burnett.
Great pressure up front. They're bringing all kinds of blitzes. They're sending different people. The 3-4 defensive set for the Chargers has really worked well. They've manufactured lots and lots of pressure on Jacksonville quarterbacks. Jack Del Rio with his arms crossed just has to watch.
They're going for it on 4th down and 7 at the San Diego 37. McCown in the shotgun. Here's McCown going for a home run. Underwood. Incomplete. Looks like Underwood did have a step in front of Quentin Jammer.
He had a step on Jammer, but when he turns to come back, this is a pass I think he actually should have caught. Right there. You got to pull that in, Gus.
And welcome back. Steve, you do a lot of surfing growing up in Kansas?
No.
1st down and 10. Here's Tolbert again. And he picks up the 1st down. Mike Tolbert closing in on 100 yards. He gains 10 right there.
Yeah, you talk about how this game has gone. And one of the guys that you knew was going to be a huge factor, Antonio Gates. He's a huge part of their offense. 2 touchdowns. Managed to get separation against teams that know he's going to be a factor. That's the key to NFL football, Gus. If you got a great player, and even if the other team knows it, you got to find a way to get him the ball.
Tolbert running, and I just thought it was interesting when we talked to Antonio at the Chargers facility on Friday, and how glowingly he spoke on Nick Saban, the head coach at the University of Alabama, #1 team in the nation. He said that Saban recruited him to Michigan State when he was there. And he said, I'm going to let you play basketball and football, but you have to sign a football scholarship.
That's right. Well, because football's earlier in the season than basketball. You got to get started.
So then he got to Michigan State. Saban said, I'm not going to let you play basketball. You're going to be a 1st-round pick.
Which is why Antonio Gates came out of Kent State.
That's right. He left. But even today, he looks back and he says, you know what? Coach Saban was trying to tell me what was on the line and where my future was, but as a 17-year-old kid, he said, I just didn't understand. And now look, I guess
look at that.
Coach Saban was really right.
No question. We asked him, have you always played, have you been playing tight end since you were 6 years old? And he said, no, he's freshman in high school, I was a quarterback. And as a sophomore, they needed a tight end. The coach thought I could do it. He put me in at tight end. I didn't like it. I didn't want to play tight end. They put me in. 10 plays I had at tight end as a sophomore starting varsity. 6 catches, 2 touchdowns. Said, okay, I'll play tight end. And the rest is, as they say, history.
3rd down and 12 to the 46. That's the difference between 40 and 60 million. Nothing, according to Coach Saban. Here's Rivers up top. Caught. Touchdown, Malcolm Floyd. And that's a $60 million play there.
Well, you knew it was going to happen, Gus. 54-yard touchdown. You think the San Diego Chargers are going to wind that clock down with just over 8 minutes. They're going to kill the clock. Not so. Phillip Rivers, straight drop back, no play action. Go. I'll get it to you. Great throw, great separation. Malcolm Floyd by himself behind the defense. And like I said earlier, unless you've been living off planet, Phillip Rivers is a really, really, really good quarterback.
Phillip Rivers now, 22 of 29, 334 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And he's happy. And he's letting his teammates know it. 38-6 Chargers. 8:06 to play in the 4th, and a lot of smiles on that Chargers sideline, especially with this man, Phillip Rivers, 15th career, 300-plus yard game, 3 touchdowns as well, along with those 2 interceptions. Nate Kading sends it away, and this will be Underwood moving up the sideline, and finally out of bounds at about the 33. Next Saturday, we were talking about Nick Saban. Well, the Home Depot SEC on CBS looks out for #1 as Heisman winner Mark Ingram and top-ranked Alabama take on Ryan Mallett and 13th-ranked Arkansas. It all starts with TIAA Prep College football today. Antonio Gates could have played for Nick Saban for a long time. He played 1 year at Michigan State and then transferred to play basketball at Kent State. Went to the Elite Eight. But his tight ends to ever play the game underneath. And this ball is caught by Jennings. Rashad Jennings has had a solid game. He picks up 17 yards on that play. Stephen Gregory with the time.
And you just, you know, if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars in this situation, Gus, I alluded to it earlier, you just keep playing. You just keep swinging the axe and chopping wood. You have no choice.
That one deflected at the line of scrimmage. Applewhite, we mentioned his name a number of times, knocking that ball down.
They've really done an extremely good job up front. San Diego Chargers have getting penetration, chasing David Garrard, and like I said earlier too, I think David Garrard missed a few opportunities to buy himself some time and extend plays with his legs. But great defense by the Chargers.
Mike Sims Walker with the grab, and he's stopped by Kaysen. So for Jack Del Rio, this graphic kind of sums up their day. 6 turnovers, no opportunities in the red zone, and they've only rushed for 42 yards.
Yeah. Their punter, Adam Podlish, did not even walk on the field today. Did not have any punts. They turned it over every time. He didn't even need to suit up.
3rd down and 4 at the 46. McCown throws on the run. Nice throw. Mike Sims Walker with the grab, stays in bounds and picks up a 1st down. A gain of 11.
He goes. There's Podlish. I mean, they're going for it on 4th down every series, and and why not? I mean, you understand why, but I guess Podlish did get on the field. He held for the field goals.
Yes, he did.
Oh, there you go. Not a complete wasted trip.
McCown down the seam. Nice catch. Mercedes Lewis picks up the 1st down as he catches it over the middle at the 15. 18-yard gain.
Yeah, Gregory came in low and took him down. Great catch by Lewis. You see him working at the bottom of the screen. This is going to be a high throw, and not too many tight ends are tall enough to go up and get that. We sat down with Lewis yesterday. He is a big tight end.
6'6".
He is not a tweener.
1st down and 10 at the 17. McCown again to throw. In the end zone, Mike Sims Walker dropped it. Stephen Gregory defensively, but Mike Sims Walker, who's had some nice catches today, just couldn't hold on to that one.
Yeah, and I think he'd like to have this one back. Jammer does a nice job. He's going to stay in the flat, passed him off to Gregory. And this is why he missed it. Got knocked 15 feet out of bounds.
Stephen Gregory, undrafted free agent out of Syracuse. Great special teams player. In the starting lineup now, 2nd down and 10 at the 17. Underneath, this time it's Mike Thomas, and he picks up a couple. 5:55 and counting for Jack Del Rio's team, and they will rev that bus up quickly, Steve, and get off the West Coast.
Yeah, and you talk about, that we showed you the graphic earlier in the day, how difficult it is for them, or it seems to be, for them to travel to the West Coast. They really struggled. This will make them 0-3 in their last 3 trips out here. Last year they were out here twice, lost both games, and didn't look very good in either game. And of course today, it speaks for itself.
38-6. McCown in the corner, incomplete. Kasim Osgood, the intended receiver, that brings up 4th down and 8.
You see they're working against Kaysen. Gets the inside release. It comes open. It's just a rough throw. I mean, it's just not accurate enough from McCown. That could have been a touchdown, but it wasn't. No question, it was taking a perfect throw, but that's the kind of throw you got to make.
4th down and 8 at the Charger 15-yard line for Jacksonville. McCown in for David Garrard here in the 4th quarter. Garrard throwing 4 interceptions, was pulled from the game. Now McCown to the sideline. Wilfer with the catch, but he won't pick up the first down. Nice open field tackle by Quentin Jammer. So on 4th down and 8, the Jaguars gained 5 and turned it over on down. San Diego cruising. Welcome back to Qualcomm Stadium. Chargers take over. They have a new quarterback in, Billy Volek. Also a new running back in, Jacob Hester. And folks, don't forget, honor, justice, and family. It's in their blood. Tom Selleck leads an all-star cast of Blue Bloods, premiering Friday, only CBS. Big day for the offense. How about the numbers for Phillip Rivers?
Oh, yeah. 334, 3 touchdowns, overcoming the 2 interceptions. Nice passer rating. With 2 interceptions, you get a 119 passer rating. That's a pretty good day.
Billy Volek, 11th year out of Fresno State, in the game. Quarterback hands it off to Jacob Hester. And Hester running forward. Crosses the 15, stopped by Russell Allen, gains 4 on the play. There's Billy Volek, former quarterback with the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, and you wonder why, maybe it took him so long to put Billy Volek in. We were talking in the break, Gus, Phillip Rivers doesn't want to come out of that game. Neither does Antonio Gates. None of these guys want to not play in a game like this. The guys that don't want to play are on the other sideline. Those are the guys that would like to take a day off now. But North Turner, Phillip Rivers, those guys want this game to go on forever.
3rd down and 6 at the 16. Hester. And Hester, in his 3rd year out of LSU, picks up 3 on the play. Morrison and Considine combining on the tackle, so that will force the punt. But how about those slow starts that San Diego has had in the past? But I don't know, when I talked to you earlier, you don't necessarily consider these slow starts.
2 and 3 is a 500 start. Slow start is 1 and 4, 0 and 5. That's slow. 500, I mean, if you go 500 the first 12 games of the year, you're in the playoff hunt. You're right. I think they know the team's better than 2 and 3 usually. And of course, in the last half of the year, you see in that graphic, they are. It's not how you start, Gus, it's how you finish.
That's right, and San Diego was a very, very good second half team in the last few years. Take a look at some passing leaders. How about Donovan McNabb? Big day. Redskins finally got some stability at quarterback. When was the last time the Redskins had a solid quarterback? Mark Rippon?
He had 1 year with them. I mean, that's just a 1-year guy. He had the 1 good year. How about Phillip Rivers getting all those yards today, and he's 5th best in the NFL.
Adrian Peterson, 145 yards rushing. Wow. 1st down and 10 at the 47. Here's the handoff. Jennings. Let's look at the big receivers around the league. Burnett with the tackle. Andre Johnson, 120 yards.
Dallas, Miles Austin in a loss, 142 yards receiving.
Oh my goodness. The Super Bowl is in Dallas this year, Steve. They were talking about becoming
Defense,
the first team.
12 men on the field, 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
The Cowboys, there was some rumblings about them wanting to become the first team to play at home. They start 0-2 in Big D.
There you
Other
go.
surprise starts here. Vikings 0-2. Bucks 2-0.
Chiefs 2-0. Bears 2-0. I mean, you're right. There's 5 surprises right there.
We'll see the Bucks next week when they take on the Steelers at home. Steelers also should be a surprise team, 2-0 as well without Ben Roethlisberger, who was serving a 4-game suspension. Zaire making the tackle. Rashad Jennings running, picks up 2. Phillip Rivers, he's without 2 of his major weapons. And what do you think about the situation with Vincent Jackson as well as Marcus McNeil, starting left tackle? Jackson, great receiver. They made him an offer and he's turned it down.
Well, he turned down $3.2 million, said no. And once he did that, San Diego said, we'll give you until June 15 to accept it. He said no. He said, okay, that's it then. You get the tender, which is only $600,000. And he said no to that as well, obviously.
He's also serving a suspension.
Two 3-game suspensions.
And that brings us to the 2-minute warning. 38-6 San Diego. Back right after this. Next Sunday, the NFL on CBS rolls out doubleheader action, including Chris Johnson and the Titans at Eli Manning and the Giants. Late games include the Colts and the Broncos and the Chargers at Seattle. Check local listings beginning with JB and the guys on the NFL Today. Jacksonville first down and 10 at the Charger 25, down 38-6. Flag on the play. McCown rolling out of the pocket and just lets it go, but looks like offside will be the call.
Offside, defense number 96. 5-yard penalty, first down.
It's Travis Johnson getting through there. He tried to jump the snap count and ended up chasing McCown out of the pocket. Now it's a little surprised that the officials let that play go, as you see Sean Merriman back in the game today for the Chargers.
After missing last week because of an Achilles injury.
He's been out for a while, and it probably feels good for him to break a sweat.
Jennings running. And he gets down to the 9. Picks up first down. Stopped by Antoine Applewhite. 10-yard gain.
Speaking of North Turner during the week, he really feels comfortable, says his team's bigger than it was a year ago, stronger, they had more speed, and of course because of the injuries last year to certain positions on this team and the experience those players got filling in, now they're a deeper football team as well. So I think it's clear that not only are the expectations high here in San Diego, but I think North Turner has high expectations for his club as well.
One thing about Norm, when you talk to him, you never really see him get ruffled. It seems like he's always an even-keeled coach. McCown, throw, incomplete.
Yeah, I know. A lot of fans get caught up in that. I mean, let's face it, a head coach is the franchise, kind of the face of the franchise, Gus, and you know that fans kind of think, you know, the team, and it does, the team does become a reflection of their head coach, but lots of different kinds of head coaches have won Super Bowls in the NFL. And a lot of people think Rex Ryan and the New York Jets are the only way to go. You got to have a rah-rah guy, and that's just not the case.
McCown with room to run. And he goes down inside the 5. Guess who? Antoine Cason. What a game he's had. They should give him a game ball, and now McCown, instead of sliding, he comes up a little gimpy as he tries to walk it off.
Well, you'll see here at the end of the play,
goes down hard on that right knee.
Now, David Garrard could come in and finish this game if McCown can't continue, and he probably will, because there are only 2 quarterbacks on Jacksonville's squad. The emergency quarterback is Zach Miller, the tight end.
Zach Miller played quarterback at Nebraska Omaha. He's in his 2nd year. And now David Garrard back in for the final few seconds of this game, and he's had a day to forget. 4 interceptions. They've gone 47 consecutive games without having a 3-interception game. He threw 3 interceptions in the first half. 4th down and goal at the 3. Garrard throws it, and it's caught. Mike Sims Walker makes the catch in the end zone, and it's a touchdown.
Well, how about that? David Garrard comes in and gets one last play and throws a touchdown pass. Cold off the bench after standing over there for, you know, what could have been probably a half hour of this game, and takes a shot to the chin when he does it. Oof. Sean Phillips.
Extra point up and good. So with 37 seconds remaining, San Diego with a 38-13 lead. And for those of you expecting to see 60 minutes, you're watching the NFL on CBS and the game between the Jacksonville Jaguars and San Diego Chargers. I'm Gus Johnson along with Steve Tasker. 38-13 is our score. 60 minutes will be seen in its entirety immediately after the game, except on the West Coast, where it will be seen at its regularly scheduled time.
Well, it's a long flight anyway from San Diego to Jacksonville. Well, it's going to seem even longer for the Jaguars.
No rest for the weary. For the Chargers and the Jaguars. Well, the Jaguars will take on Philadelphia next week. Philly, led by Michael Vick, defeating the Detroit Lions today in Detroit. And next week, San Diego will travel and play Seattle.
If you wonder how teams get over this, Gus, they really don't have any choice. Tomorrow, the Jaguars will get home tonight, go to sleep, get up tomorrow, and they'll be looking forward to next week.
Darren Sproles will take a knee at the 16-yard line, and the Chargers offense will come on the field and take a knee and let this game end.
Yeah, these games like this, Gus, when they get out of hand, they're easier for the players than they are the fans. The fans have to live with this loss all week. The Jaguars get up and they start thinking about the Philadelphia Eagles immediately tomorrow morning. They're going to put it behind them and start getting better. They'll learn from it everything they can, but they've got to move on. They can't let this loss count for 2 losses and have it affect their preparation for the next game.
Turnover is the story in this game. Jacksonville turning it over 6 times, 4 interceptions by David Garrard. And for the San Diego Chargers, Phillip Rivers rallied after 2 interceptions, had a big second half. Chargers 1-1, Jaguars 1-1. The final 38-13. Antonio Gates a couple of touchdowns as well for San Diego. So for Steve Tasker, this is Gus Johnson saying so long from Southern California. You've been watching the NFL on CBS. Now let's go to James Brown in New York.